What's up, guys? Welcome to Tempe Creek, where we talk about our vineyard, winery, and small farm operations. If you're into that sort of content, hit that subscribe button and let's move forward. We have really awesome content today, guys. We're talking about how much wine our winery sold in the second year of operation. It's hard to believe, but we have been open for over 2 years. And it's been, it's had its blessings, and there's things that you have to kind of negotiate and all that sorts of things. We're going to talk about how much we sold, and I think you're going to be surprised to know how much it is. We've grown from last year, which is always the hope. We recently just started opening up a third day out of the week, so we're open on Fridays now, which before our entire operation was only Saturday and Sunday. So as we go through these numbers, realize that is only open 2 days out of the week, and we're not open long, guys. We're on Saturdays, we are open noon to like 6 or 7, and on Sundays 1 to 5, and that is it. And so just for me, seeing these numbers, I think we've had major progress. So I'm basically going to tell you guys how many bottles we went through through our system. A little caveat that there is some waste that happens that is not included in this system. Like at the end of the month, at the end of the week, where we have leftover wine bottles, those bottles need to get drank regardless, or tossed or whatever. And sometimes it's just like you have one tasting's worth taken out, and sometimes you have like the entire bottle's gone, so it's like kind of a nice ending. But it varies week in, week out. And so if you've opened that bottle, you have like 2 days that you need to use it, or else maybe you can get away with it on the third day, but not anything past that. All these numbers are basically wine that was bought and paid for. No wastage is included in it, so I would add some on there for that. Alright, guys, I'm not gonna do it like last year. Last year I went month by month, and even though that's kind of a cool breakdown, it kind of got repetitive. So with this one, I'm giving you totals right up from the beginning. We're going for how many tastings, how many glasses, how many bottles, and our total number of wine bottles used and bought and paid for our second year of operation. All right, first let's talk about our tastings. We'll go small to biggest. For our tastings, we had 521 tastings. In our tastings, they're 1 ounce pours, and we actually end up doing 7 tastings generally. And so through all that, we ended up selling 521 tastings. If you extrapolate that out, the tastings times the number of 1 ounce pours divided by the amount of ounces in a bottle, we end up with 145 bottles off of tastings alone, which seems like a crazy amount when you remember you're just pouring such small amounts, but that's what we ended up selling. Next is we sold 762 glasses of wine. A glass of wine should be about 1/5 of a bottle if you're pouring correctly. Sometimes it's hard, guys. I know, like, everyone has their preferences. They party pour for themselves, and when you're pouring for someone else, it's like you look at it and you're like, is that it? Is that all that's in a glass of wine? I feel like there's a little bit more, and so you just slowly add a little bit here, a little bit there. And so but you should be able to get 5 glasses in 1 bottle. We ended up selling 762 glasses, and when you divide that by 5, you get 150 bottles off of that. When you add those two together, that's 295 bottles off of tastings and glasses of wine. And then we come into the big number, the amount of bottles we sold last year. Bottles speak for themselves. We sold 1,604 bottles last year, and so if you add all those things together and the grand total of number of bottles that went out our door, last year, 1,899. Let's just round that up to 1,900 bottles. If we're rounding now, might as well go 2,000 bottles went out our door last year, especially if we're counting for wastage and things like that. We had a total of 2,000 bottles that we went through last year. When you're thinking about it, guys, that is actually gallons wise is not a crazy amount of time of gallons. If you're a home winemaker, it is feasible to think that you could actually make these numbers for yourselves. 2,000 bottles. It's basically like 400 gallons that went out our door. And that's not including any like wastage and all that other sorts of things. But just think about your own production and how much you do. If you're doing it for a living, could you produce 400 gallons of wine, knowing what you know and using the techniques that you know? I think a lot of you guys would be surprised. A lot of you guys could do it. But this is a increase over last year, which is awesome. We have, I know sales numbers wise, they basically doubled from last year. And so I'm excited to see what we do in the future. We are now open that extra day, and I really think that's going to make a difference. Hopefully we can double again. And so that basically will be at a point where one of us might be able to quit our job. Hopefully me. Probably not me though, but hopefully me, especially if we're able to do this. Videos will start coming more often. With that being said, guys, thanks for watching. Tempe Creek out. Max! Yeah.